learn about your information rights and how we use information, please see our Personal Information Charter at www.gov.uk. At DWP, we are committed to keeping everyone safe and secure, and treating all with kindness and respect. We all have a part to play in this, and unacceptable behavior of any kind will not be tolerated. Please listen carefully to all the options as they have changed. If you're calling about a Universal Credit appointment, press 1. For any other Universal Credit query, choose 2. In a moment I'll ask you to enter some personal information. If you're called, sorry. Now, can you tell me your postcode? For example, BS142CF. Remember, if you're calling for someone else,
EC1R3AR.
please say your postcode now.
EC1R3AR. I just told you the postcode. Are you deaf? Morning, Peter. My name's Colton. I've not received the correct amount of universal credit. My housing benefit is not being paid.
Right, well, let me bring up your account there. What's your surname?
Colton.
Is that C-O-L-T-O-N?
With a U after the first O.
Okay, so it's C-O-U-L-T-O-N.
Yes.
What's your postcode there, please?
EC1R3AR.
Was that E for Echo, C for Charlie?
Yes, Echo Charlie, 1 Romeo, 3 Alpha Romeo.
And can you just confirm your full name, including any middle names?
I'm Hadrian Colton, with middle names John and Neil.
And what colour was your first car?
Blue.
And what was the name of your first pet?
Bunny, as in bunny rabbit.
And can you just confirm the mobile number that we have on your account there, please?
07865 012 249.
Just want to have a look at the details regarding your housing. Let me have a look. Right, well, from what I can see on your statement, okay, it does look like that your housing is getting paid because we are sending payments direct to your landlord.
Well, I'm being threatened with eviction because of non-payment.
Okay. Because we are sending, because the payment was sent to your landlord of £638.04p, okay, and we would have sent that payment over to your landlord once a month, and that would have gone over on the 25th of October.
I hear everything you're saying, but I'm still being threatened with eviction. Can I please email you or send you by your upload system the letters threatening my eviction?
Right. I mean, I would check with your landlord to make sure that...
I have checked with my landlord. They are sending me eviction letters. Can I please upload to you the letters threatening my eviction? Yes or no?
Right, then, well, what you could do is you could send a message on your journal to a case manager.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what it is.
And they would then, and then, as I said, they can then, if they want you to upload the details, then they'll send you a link to where you can upload that.
Can you please tell me how to do this?
Right, well, you would log into your online account.
Yes, hold on, let me do that now.
And when, yeah,
Okay, I'm logged in. Now we'll go to the journal.
yeah, you would go to journal. You would then send a message to the case with your query.
Is that add a journal entry?
It says, yeah.
Then what? Now, what is it about? Appointment, change of circumstance, job applications, message for my work coach, payment, or work search note?
Well, it would go, you would send the message through payment because it is a payment query that you have.
And then what do I do? So how do I upload you the letters from my landlord?
Well, you would then have to wait for the case manager to then send you a link. If they want you to upload the details, they would then send you a link where you can upload the letter from your landlord, but you would need to send a message first to a case manager. So you would need to say that your landlord says that they're not receiving the rent. However, we are sending payments to your landlord, and then you can obviously and then if the case manager then wants you to upload any evidence, they'll send you a link of where you can upload the information.
So I've written here, how do I upload to you the letters from my landlord threatening my eviction for non-receipt of housing benefit?
That would be the rent payment from Universal Credit, yes.
And then I put, please phone me on my phone number to direct me. And
Okay, or they might send you a message on your journal saying with the link where they're saying if they want you to upload the letters, they'll send you a link on your journal with a reply to say that if they need you to upload that information, then they'll send you what's called a to-do upload, where you can upload the information, take a copy of that information, and then upload it onto your account.
I'll send them that. That was one issue. I've got two more issues. My benefit is not being paid properly. I'm on the system, moved to Universal Credit,
Right.
and then because I'm homeless, the man from the homeless team came to my council tenancy, and he said to me that because I'm on move to Universal Credit, I should be receiving more money. But then I don't know what the gentleman did, but he shouldn't have got involved. The Universal Credit should have paid me correct amount back in April. And then he sent a message to my wheelchair repairer to not repair my wheelchair. And so I had to stop having contact with this man from the homeless team. So I think it's very important that the Universal Credit should pay the correct amount of money right to start with back in April, because it's now 7 months later, and the fact that I'm not receiving the correct amount of money means that my children cannot go to school because we can't afford to pay it, and it's causing my wheelchair to not be repaired.
I mean, all I can see on your account is you say what you're receiving. We're saying that you get, they're saying that what you're receiving for Universal Credit payment is £311.97. That's because they're saying that you are still in receipt of carers allowance, okay, which gets taken out of your partner's still getting carers allowance, which gets
But I've told you that is somebody else's claim. It is not my claim. I have been telling you this for 15 years, not 15, 10 years. I've been telling you this for 10 years. Why aren't you responding to my concerns that I'm raising? Why am I being ignored on this matter? That's somebody else's claim. It's not my claim. Can you please remove somebody else's information from my claim? That's a breach of data privacy. I understand it's the information you've got. I'm not talking to you because I want you to give me information. I'm talking to you because there's a problem. I want to speak to somebody who can resolve the problems. I just don't want you to say to me, oh yes, we acknowledge there's a problem, but we're not going to do anything about it. I want to talk to somebody who will resolve the problem. My children can't go to school. I cannot get my wheelchair repaired, and somebody else's claim is mixed up with my claim. Why, after 10 years of constantly complaining about this, your organization is not doing anything about it? Why? Why does it take 10 years for me to have to speak to you and you still won't resolve the problem?
Because we haven't had your universal credit claim for 10 years. We've only your universal.
It doesn't matter whether you're universal credit or employment and support allowance. You are the Department for Work and Pensions, and this problem has been going on for 10 years. Okay? Don't just tell me you're universal credit and you're not responsible. It's not my fault if the government, slow down a second, it is not my fault if the government wants to change the name of ESA to universal credit. That is the government's problem.
Right. But what I'm saying is we can only deal with ESA queries. We don't deal with any other queries regarding any information that you have.
It doesn't matter, okay? There's a problem, and I want the problem to go to a senior manager who can resolve it, please.
Whether you need to send another message on your journey to a case manager, because the case managers are the ones that you would need to deal with. Again, you can send a message.
But I have been sending them these messages for 10 years.
But the universal credit, you see, case managers would have is different to managers that you would have had on previous benefits.
It doesn't matter. I'm no longer on ESA. It has been, the name of ESA has been changed to universal credit. It's still the same issue.
Is your partner still getting carers allowance?
You have to ask my partner that.
Because if your partner is receiving carers allowance, then that would have an effect on the amount of universal credit that you're receiving.
But that's not my query. My query is this. One, the council are threatening me with eviction for non-payment of housing benefit. Two, I cannot get my wheelchair repaired because I had to call in a homeless charity to look at my benefits, and they have confirmed with me that because I'm on move to universal credit, I should be receiving a higher amount of money, and we don't have enough money to send our child to school. And thirdly, you're telling me now that my benefit claim has been mixed up with somebody else's, which has been the case for 10 years. Can you please find somebody in your organization to resolve these problems? I have been writing to your organization with these concerns for many years, and they're not being resolved.
How are you saying that you think it's being mixed up with somebody else's?
Because the information you've got is wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Well, let me have to go through the details on here.
It's not fair to make somebody have to deal with this for 10 years. You should have dealt with this back in 2015.
I'm just having a look to see if there's any information on here.
don't understand why I just get ignored the whole time.
I mean, as I say, the only thing I can advise that you do would be to send a message to a case manager, because the case managers are the only ones that can deal with any queries.
What about if I've already sent messages to the case manager?
Okay, then I would say wait if you've already sent them previously. Let me have a look, see if there's been any update regarding that. Alright, let me have a look. Alright, let me have a look. Right, so did you, so I see, so you're saying that you filled out and sent in the questionnaire for your health, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
The UC50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought that to the job centre.
Because what happens with the UC50, you see, if you fill that out, that would then have gone sent over to the health assessment department, who would be the ones that would need to book you an appointment to see if they for you to do your health assessment. That's not done.
But I'm on. But
That's done through.
I understand. But I'm also on Move to Universal Credit. So my it's not a UC50. It's a something 50 for ESA should have automatically been transferred to Universal Credit.
Well, let me just have a look.
I'm on Move to Universal Credit, so all of the issues attached with Universal Credit should have automatically transferred to Universal Credit from ESA.
Right, because I mean, did you get a reply back from the complaints that you sent in?
Nothing.
September.
Somebody has phoned me up a couple of times. They've said to me it's beyond their pay grade. They're going to get a senior person to look at it, and then I've heard nothing more.
Okay, because on the 11th of September, okay, there was information saying that the Universal Credit Complaints team have passed your complaint to investigate and reply. It says we are currently receiving a high volume of correspondence, and I'm sorry for the delay in responding. Although the response from us has been delayed, I would like to assure you that the work is ongoing, and you will hear from us in due course.
Yeah. What
You
date?
do not need to do anything further.
Yeah. What date is that one, please? What's that date?
That was put on the account on the 11th of September. That was the message that was put on there on the online account. Okay. And then there was a message put on the 12th of September saying that we have removed Jason from your claim because you were not their main carer. You will no longer get payments for them. We will let you know if you need to return any payments for Jason Agiemko.
Yes, but I'm on Universal Credit, so I'm still supposed to be paid for Jason.
Because it's saying that you're not their main carer.
It doesn't matter. I'm on a system called Move to Universal Credit. I'm still supposed to be paid.
Right, well, you won't receive carers element unless you're still claiming for that, still caring for that person.
Well, it's not. Look, the matter was supposed to be escalated to the team who deal with Move to Universal Credit. They're supposed to make a decision on it. They're not supposed to take Jason off. Because that's how the system Move to Universal Credit works. So I've been told. Well, that was a mistake.
Because if you're no longer caring for them, then we've removed the carers element. Let me just have a look at the details. Let me have a look. Just go through all the information on here. And then I can also see on the 8th of October, it looks like it was passed over to a decision maker regarding a mandatory reconsideration. Okay. And now that is still with the decision makers, so it looks like that they haven't made a response, and that was to do with saying that it was due to your claim due to your health condition. That was what was passed over for mandatory consideration. So that's still with the decision makers. So they haven't made any decision yet regarding that information that was passed over to them.
I don't even know what information that is. Why is nobody telling me anything about this? What decision? What information is that?
Right, well, that looks like it was to do with the decision that was raised on the 20th of August this year. Let me just have a look to see what that was. 2 moments. All right, I'm just going to have a look. Because this looks like it may have been sent over by the complaints department, okay? Because it was saying that you started, says that you started a claim on the 2nd of May. Well, they did not submit the claim until the 19th of May. 5th of July, the claim was closed by claimant due to declaring that they had stopped living with the partner.
That's not okay. I understand that you're saying that I said I had stopped living with my partner, but that's not true. That's incorrect. That was a computer error.
Right, it was saying then, claim was then transferred to a single claim. Straight with the claimant declared themselves as the same partner. The original declaration appears to have been an error. So it says, make a decision on backdating the claim raised on the newest account. Journal message sent to claimant to acknowledge the complaint. So it looks like that may have then been sent to a decision maker regarding the error that was put on the claim. That was on the 28th of August. Okay. And let me just go through all the details. All right, let me have a look. And then there's information on the 11th of September saying, having considered all evidence and information, that the decision maker is not satisfied that Hadrian can be classed as the main responsible person for the declared child, Jason, and including the 17th of July. The decision maker has weighed the decision by the evidence provided by you and your partner. From the information evidence provided, the decision maker has found that Hadrian have not provided any documentary evidence or information to date that they are the main responsible person for Jason. The burden of proof lies with the claimant to provide that the conditions for an award are satisfied. The decision maker has weighed the evidence provided by the linked claimant and is satisfied that the linked claimant has main responsibility and I have therefore determined that Hadrian and Stella do not meet the conditions for being the responsible person for Jason. Okay. So that's the information that they're saying, the evidence provided by you is saying that you're not classed as the main responsible person for the child.
I understand, but do I get a mandatory reconsideration for that?
Well, here's a mandatory reconsideration put in place. Okay. Let me have a look.
When am I going to get the letter so I can take it to the tribunal?
Okay, well, you would need to wait for them to, because that looks like it's still with the decision maker. Okay. And as I say, the information that I can see is you would need to wait for the decision makers to send you the details regarding the mandatory consideration. It's still with the decision makers.
How long will that likely take?
We don't have a time scale. They'll send the details on your account as and when they've made a decision with the mandatory consideration that was sent across in the 8th of October.
Will they phone me up?
They'll normally put the outcome on your online account with the decision.
Can you please ask them to phone me? Can you please ask them to phone me up because I'm disabled with a brain injury? I need an adjustment under the Equality Act. Can they please phone me up on that matter, so that to make me aware?
Fine, but as I said, they'll also update that on your online account with the outcome as well, because then you can print out the letter, and then say if you wanted to appeal the outcome, you would have the letter.
I understand, but
online account.
I understand that, but the problem is, in order for me to be made aware, I need them to phone me up. Is that something that you can arrange for me, or not?
I mean, you could always send a message on your journal for that, because obviously, from what I can see on the details, because you have an online account, you can send messages to your
bear with me.
manager direct.
I'm still logged in. So I add a journal entry.
Yeah.
It's telling me to create it. Why is it telling me to create an account? It signed me out. Hang on. Right. So I go to menu journal, add journal entry.
Again, you could add it and put it through the payment again.
Yeah.
That will go direct over to a case manager.
And so, okay. So is there a reference number or a code for not being paid for being paid for Jason? How do I refer to that?
Well, all you can do is you can put on the details to say that because on the 11th of September, okay, let me have a look. There was a letter put on your universal credit saying you will not be able to get universal credit. Child element is payable to the person who this was put on your online account on the 11th of September. So this is the letter saying that you're not able to get the child element for Jason. Okay. So let me have a look. Yeah, so on the 11th of September, okay, there was information put on your claim, a letter saying, update is saying, dear Hadrian and Stella, child element is payable to the person who is responsible for a child or young person. The responsible person is the person who the child normally lives with. When a child or young person lives with two or more persons who are not a couple, child element is payable to the person who has the main responsibility. Saying we have decided that you do not currently have main responsibility.
Is there a reference number on the letter?
We kind of but the letter's on the online, it's on your online account. This was dated on the 11th of September.
Who is it signed by? Who put the name at the bottom?
Right. Well, that would be updated. They don't actually have a particular name on there.
Oh, okay.
But that was updated onto your universal credit claim.
By which department? By which department put it on?
Okay, well, that would have been from the decision makers. So it was that when that was put on your account on the 11th of September, where you can see the letter. Okay.
Right. So.
So they did update that onto your online account, and that was on the 11th of September at 2:50 p.m.
So, right at 2:50 p.m.
If you click on your journal and you go down to the one dated the 11th of September at 2:50 p.m.
Yeah, okay, but the thing is that what am I waiting for? Can you describe what I'm waiting for?
Alright, so I'm just going to have a look at the information on here. I'm going to have a look. There's say, to see what the other mandatory consideration is that it's with the decision. I'm just going to have a look. Okay. Right, this looks like this may have been sent over by the complaints department, saying it was to do with the closure of the previous claim. Okay. So this may have been the information that was put on from the complaints department regarding where they changed your account from, to say that it was from a single to a joint one. Okay. Because that looks like that was information was there from the complaints department. Okay. So it looks like the complaints department are the ones that sent it over to, they've referred it over to the decision makers regarding that. So it looks like it was to do with the mandatory consideration is due to the closure of the previous claim due to your health condition. So it looks like that was passed over regarding when they closed your previous claim. So that looks like what's being passed over to the decision makers, saying that it's what will be backdated. It requires a mandatory consideration of the closure of the previous claim. So it looks like it was to do with when it was changed over originally to say that it was from the single claim. So that was the information that looks like it was passed over.
Right. What was the date of the computer error?
That's what's being passed over by the complaint.
Yeah, but what was the date that the computer error was made when they changed me from a joint to a single?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, what was the date that happened?
Yeah. Because it was saying on the 5th of July the claim was closed, but then it was saying the claimant declared that he was with the same partner. The original declaration appears to have been an error. That's what they admit. So that was what was passed over to the decision makers, and it looks like that was from the complaints. Okay, so that's what's being passed over regarding when they closed when the previous claim was closed.
What date was the mandatory reconsideration?
8th of October. That was passed over. So that was passed over on the 8th of October, and that's still with the decision makers regarding that one.
Hang on, bear with me. I'm writing this down.
Yeah. So again, you would need to wait for the mandatory consideration outcome for that one. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And so
the one regarding the children, that that letter was updated onto your online account saying that you're not eligible for the payment for Jason.
okay, but will I get the mandatory reconsideration at the same time for both the computer error when I was moved from joint to single and about the child element? Will that all be on the same mandatory reconsideration?
No, because it's two different. The mandatory consideration is the one regarding the previous. That was what was passed over.
Is that two different mandatory reconsiderations?
Yeah, they are two different departments.
What are the names of the two departments?
Yeah.
Can you give me the names of the two departments? Different names?
Yeah, well, one of them would be the decision makers. Okay. They are the ones who do the mandatory consideration. Okay. And then, as I say, the other message, if you send another message, the other messages go to a case manager. They don't go to the decision makers when you send the messages through your journal.
Okay, one is the decision makers, and what's the other one called?
Okay, well, the decision makers are the ones that do the mandatory consideration. Okay.
And the other department?
Any other queries? Well, that is the decision makers.
But okay, I don't understand. How can I differentiate between two different departments who've got exactly the same name, decision makers?
Well, the decision makers are the ones that drew the outcome for the mandatory consideration.
What is the other department called? Is it also called decision makers?
No, the decision makers are the decision makers are the ones that look at the mandatory consideration that was sent over to them. They are the ones that make the decision based on the details that were sent over. So the mandatory considerations get sent to the decision makers. But any other messages that you put on your journal, they get sent to case managers. And then I can also see on the 6th of November, there was a message saying that a payment to your landlord is in place on your statement. So it looks like that when you sent the message on the 6th of November saying that your housing benefit is not being paid, there was a reply back saying that a payment to your landlord is in place on your statement.
I need to send them my eviction letters.
Okay, then that would be then when you sent the message on your claim through your journal, that would have gone to a case manager, because that's the one that you sent over today, and the case manager would be the one who would need to send you the link to upload the letters from your landlord. So the message that you put on your journal saying how to upload you the letters from your landlord, they are the ones that get sent to a case manager, because it's the case manager that would send you any links to upload the details. So you would need to wait for the reply to come back regarding that message that you've just sent this morning.
The problem that I've got is that I have a brain injury, and it's just too difficult for me to take all this in. I've tried writing some notes, but it's beyond my level of ability to write anything coherent to your organization. For example, I have been writing to the Department for Work and Pensions under both Universal Credit and ESA for 10 years about somebody else's claim mixed up with my claim. And for whatever reason, I just can't make myself understood. What should I do if my messages that I'm trying to get across to your organization are not being properly understood?
The only thing I can say is that regarding the housing one, as I say, you've sent a message to a case manager for that one. So the case manager will reply back to the message that you just sent at 9:08 today. Okay. But then the mandatory consideration, that will be replied to once the decision makers have made a decision on the mandatory consideration that was passed over to them.
I can't take this all in. Can I get some kind of an adjustment under the Equality Act so that these matters just don't drag on for so many years like this? I mean, the claim being mixed up has gone on for 10 years. The matter with Jason and I'm just reading here, Jason and the claim being wrongly moved to single from joint, that's been going on since April.
Well, that's the one that the mandatory consideration has gone over to. Okay. But from what I can see regarding Jason, okay, as I say, there was a message put on there to say that you're regarding the payment for Jason. Okay. The letter that was put on your claim on the 29th of the 11th of September was saying that you're not getting the payments, you're not entitled to the payments for Jason.
Yeah, okay, but the thing is, I want to go to the Mandatory Reconsideration Tribunal, and
right, then what you could do is, because they've sent you the outcome of the letter regarding Jason, okay, then, as I say, if you did want to use that letter, as I say, for a tribunal regarding Jason, okay, then you do have the letter on your account,
Oh,
which you can print off.
is that one ready to send to the tribunal?
Yeah, because if you wanted to do an appeal that information regarding Jason, okay, then you would have to do that separately. You would, if you wanted to do a tribunal, that wouldn't be done through Universal Credit. If you wanted to take that to appeal the decision, and you wanted to take that to a tribunal,
what date?
you would need to do that.
What date was I sent the letter, please?
To a tribunal.
What?
Yeah, but as I say, if you're able to access your online account, you can print off the letter.
Okay. How do I? Can you?
Updated.
Oh, I've got to cancel all this. Hang on.
Because the letter regarding Jason was updated on your journal on the 11th of September.
Oh, hang on, journal.
And you'll be able to click on the PDF and read the letter.
Hang on, I'm just trying to find it. Okay, here we are, journal. Journal.
Yeah.
What date?
And then if you look onto the one where it shows 11th of September at 2:50 p.m. Okay, and it says, please see the attached letter regarding a revised decision of the child element of your claim. That was on the 11th of September at 2:50.
Yeah, okay. Is that the letter?
Yeah. It says read the attached file if the letter asks you.
And is that the one I sent? Is that the one I sent to the tribunal?
But that's the one regarding saying that you're not eligible for the payments for the Jason.
Is that the one I take to the tribunal?
Yeah. If you wanted to appeal that letter, then you would be able to print off that letter. And that's the outcome of the information to say that you're not eligible for payment for Jason.
Yeah, bear with me.
And as I say, you can click on the PDF and you'll be able to open the letter regarding the information.
Okay, I've got that one. Can I ask, is that the only mandatory reconsideration letter I've been sent since I've been claiming?
It is regarding that's the only letter that you've received from any decision makers at the moment regarding the one for Jason.
But what about other matters?
Yeah.
Have I not received any for any other matters?
No, that's the only letter. That's the only information that they've given you regarding Jason's information. So from the information evidence provided, the decision makers have found that Hadrian and Stella have not provided any documentary evidence or information to say that they are the main responsible person for Jason. Okay, so that's what the decision makers have said.
Can you send me a copy of the move to Universal Credit rules? Where do I?
don't have that information because that would have been done through the move to Universal Credit helpline.
How do I get a copy of those rules?
Because the move to you would need to speak to the move to Universal Credit number regarding that.
Where do I find a copy of the rules? You don't have them?
Well, that would be good. You would need to get in touch with the move to Universal Credit team for that.
Can I have the phone number, please?
Because, right, well, let me get that for you. 0800
Mm-hmm.
169
Yeah.
0328.
All right. Okay. And so, how many claims of universal credit do I have?
Right, well, you only have one active claim,
In total?
okay? And that's the one that I'm looking at now because it looks like that you must have put in two claims before, okay? Because there was a one done on the 2nd of May to the 5th of July, which was saying that you were no longer living together as a couple, okay? And those ones have been, that one's closed, okay?
That's
And
why has
then
that
there was
not been
another
opened?
one,
Yes, carry on, carry on.
okay? And then the claim that you did on the 5th of July to the 17th of July, that one was closed because that's not a current one. And the only current claim that you've got active is the one that I'm looking at now.
From what date?
So the one that I'm looking at now, which is the one that you're receiving the universal credit payments on, that is the only active claim that you have.
What date did it start?
Because that's the one that is on your online account, which is the active claim, is the one that you're getting your universal credit payment for, and that's the one that has the information on from the decision makers. That is the active claim that you have.
When did it start?
So you only have one active universal credit claim.
When did it start? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You're breaking up there?
Can you hear me?
Sorry, you're breaking up there. I didn't get all what you were saying.
I'm asking when it started, the current one. When did it start? The start date for the current one.
The current date, the one that's on now, is the 5th of July.
So I had two that started on the 5th of July.
Yeah, but the other one was closed, and then there was a new one made on the 5th of July, which is the current one.
What's the difference? I don't understand why that. I don't understand that. Okay. And do these different claims have reference numbers?
Non-universal credit claims have reference numbers.
Do any of the other claims have any mandatory reconsiderations attached to them?
Only as I say, the one that you've got now, the mandatory consideration, looks like it was for a previous one that you made, which was the one that you said that you said that you're no longer living with a couple, but then it looks like it was changed to say that you were made with a couple. That's the one that the mandatory consideration is regarding. When it was changed, when it went from a single to a joint claim.
What date was that mandatory reconsideration letter? How can I find it?
Right, well that's the one that's still waiting for the decision to be made.
Oh, that's still waiting. Okay, right.
That was the one that was passed over to the decision makers, and as I say, they haven't replied back to that mandatory consideration yet. That's the one that was passed over to them on the 8th of October.
And it was passed from who to who?
Sorry?
It was passed from who to who?
Right, well, on that, as I say, that was passed over. It looks like it may have gone over for mandatory consideration. That was passed over on the 8th of October.
And it was passed by who?
And okay. Well, that may have been passed over by the complaints department for them to do a mandatory reconsideration, and that was put on to say that it was returned to the case manager to create an escalated mandatory consideration. So it looks like it was passed over to a case manager, and they are the ones that said it needs to go off for a mandatory consideration.
When did they say that? When did the case manager say that it had to go to mandatory reconsideration? What date?
That was the same. That was passed over on the 8th of October for the mandatory reconsideration.
Okay. It's a lot of information for me to deal with, and so I have to kind of end the call now because I'm mentally exhausted.
Right. But what I would do is, as I say, regarding the mandatory reconsideration, okay, there will be an update regarding that, okay. But as I say, the letter regarding the child, regarding Jason, as I say, there is an outcome of that one on your online account.
Thank you very much for your help today. What's your name, please?
My name's Peter.
Thank you very much for your help, Peter.
Thanks for calling Universal Credit.
Thank you so much. Thank you.